Hello, so Gemma part 2 of Pilates level 2/3. As you can see, I've had to change clothes because it's the next day. So we are starting on our backs. So remember, we're going to start with imprint. So you can have the cushion underneath your head, roll onto your side and come down. And we're starting in that position, so feet are hip distance apart. Hands are just by the side. Eyes are looking up towards the ceiling, ensuring that if you're looking behind that you nod the chin. If you're looking forward, you lift the chin. And all we're going to do is just imprint the lower back up towards the ceiling, tuck the tailbone up towards the lower ceiling, tuck the tailbone up towards the ceiling, imprint the lower back, imprint the mid, imprint the upper, and then gently release the upper, the mid, the lower. So just rocking and imprinting to the whole of the spine. Inhaling and exhaling. So the whole of the spine is flat against the mat. Like I say, you can have the cushion there or not. Completely up to you. So nice and steady. Starting simple. Don't worry. I try to plan to kill you in your session today. I'm only joking. So nice and steady. I try to make it as hard as I can for you, but remember, you're in control. So if anything at any point feels uncomfortable, if there's any pain, then we just stop. We should never be in pain when we're exercising. We should feel the muscles fatiguing. We can feel tired. We shouldn't be in pain. So last two. And last one. Gently, nice and steady. This time, just bring one leg up to 90 degrees. We want that knee above the hip, so we've got the 90 degrees. If we've got sciatica issues, we're going to keep the foot relaxed. No issues, we're going to just slightly flex the foot. Core engaged, let's just push out and in. And it's coming back to where it started from. So remember, we can either go on the diagonal, we could maybe go straighter up, or we can take it down towards the floor. It's what feels right for you, your body, and your back, okay? So we breathe in, breathe out. So 4 more. Now bring it back, this time, as if we're pushing against something really heavy. We're going to slow it down, we're going to take it out to 4, we're going to bring it into 4. So you're pushing, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it should feel harder in the thigh, and then bring it back, 1, 2, 3, 4, with control. So we go 1, oh, you're pushing, something's really heavy, you're pushing your foot through it. And then you're drawing it back, and you should be really feeling that in the thigh muscle. So remember, I think I said this last week, I said you don't need equipment to make things hard. We can make it hard just by slowing down, just by imagining, using our imagination. So really slow and steady. Remember, it's a fluid movement. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last time. 1. Really pushing. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring it down. Imprints again. Imprint tuck the tailbone. Imprint lower, mid, upper. And then release upper, mid, lower. So imprint, in between, and hopefully you've got a little bit of an ache going on in the thigh, the quadriceps. Let's say, ooh, you've just woken me up a little bit. So nice and steady. Okay, one more. And then come back. So we've got the neutral spine. We can have our fingers on the hip bones, thumbs on the ribs, so it's square aware. Remember, you've got that pelvic floor engaged, abdominal belt in place. Opposite leg comes into position. Excuse me, sorry, apologies. So, leg at 90, knee over the hip, foot flexed if we've got no sciatica. If you've got sciatica, then just have the foot relaxed, that's fine. So to begin with, we're just going out and in. And remember, we can be on the diagonal, we can be pushing up to the ceiling, or down towards down towards the ground, apologies. So remember, if you're going down towards the ground, we never touch the floor, so nice and steady. Breathing in and out. Keep going, nice and steady. Just for 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Bring it back this time. Imagine you're pushing against something really hard. We're going out to a 4 count, bringing it back to a 4 count. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. As if you're trying to push through something really heavy. And as you're bringing it back, there's even a push back against it. So you're pushing into it. Ooh. And then as you pull back, it's pushing back against it. So feel the difference in how that feels in the thigh as we go. Nice and steady. And we're going to be using this technique as we go through the session today. So nice and steady. Remembering that breath work. So we're breathing in through the nose, it's lateral breath. Breathing out through the mouth. 2 more. It's a fluid movement. Last one. Ooh. Bring it back, bring it down, feet together, knees together. 5 past, 5, 2. Nice and easy. Controlled. Remember, if you want to take those knees a little bit further, you can do. It's completely up to you. So, keeping the feet together, knees together to begin with. Neutral spine, core engaged. Take your knees out as if you've got a beach ball between the thighs. So we've got a beach ball just in between the thighs. Fingers on the hip bones, thumbs on the ribs, square aware. Pelvic floor lifted, abdominal belt in place. Now again, imagine we've got a beach ball, as I've mentioned, just between the thighs, and we're going to squeeze it in. 1, 2, the legs aren't going to come back together. 3, 4. So you're literally going to move them a few inches, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 back. So nice and steady. So squeeze in. 1, 2. Really imagine your thighs are pushing against, and then we bring it back. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're not bringing the knees all the way together. We're just moving them a few inches as if they're squeezing. Even say you had one of the big grid balls, imagine one of them in between your thighs in the studio. Nice and steady. So squeezing in for 4, releasing for 4, taking your time. Last one. Now, take it into 4, hold it there for a moment, let us pulse just for 8, 7, 6, 5, small movement, 3, hang on, I'll go backwards, let's start again, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, hold. Let's take it out to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now at that point where it is there, let's pulse again just for 8. Small movement, we're literally moving an inch or two. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold. So you're holding that pulse. Imagine that grey ball's between the legs. So you're holding it slightly further in than it was before. Let's pulse from there. So again, we're going to go in about another inch to 2 inches, just for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold. So they're a little bit closer in again. Still got that grey ball. It's squeezing it even tighter. Let's pulse again, just for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, hold. Really pushing against that grey ball now. So really imagining it between the legs, squeezing it there, holding it in place. One last set of pulses. So just that inch or two we're moving for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it. Imagine you're really squeezing that ball now. Pelvic floor's lifted, abdominal belts connected. And then let it relax. And as it relaxes, let the knees open up, let the feet be together. Have a little cobbler stretch. Hold it there. So just open up the inner thighs. We can always rub the inner thighs, bring some warmth into the muscles over the stretch. We can gently press down, assisting in opening up that little bit more. And this is really opening up into the lumbar and sacral part of the spine, as well as in that inner thigh and the hips and pelvis. So just holding it there for a few moments. Taking a deep breath. As you exhale, gently lift the legs back up and take the feet back out to hip distance apart. So we turn them out. So turn the feet out like penguins, heels out, we've got our hip distance apart. Let's just have 4 imprints. So tucking the tailbone up to the ceiling, imprint the lower, mid, upper, release, upper, mid, lower. So let's just go through that nice and steady. And then bring it back to neutral. Now holding that position, fingers onto the hip bones, thumbs onto the rib cage. Take your right leg up and straighten it as best as you can. So if it's slightly bent, that's okay. Core is nice and strong. All we're going to do is make that circle. So we're making a circle with the hip, nice and steady. Movement's coming from the hip, the leg follows through. So nice and steady, with control, slow and steady. Now, if you're hearing a pop in or feeling a pop in, make that range smaller, okay? So control it. And the foot is just relaxed at this point. But imagine your foot, your leg, is in a big pot of porridge and it's staring it. So there's a little bit of resistance there at the top as you're stirring that foot. And then change direction. So go in the opposite direction. But again, imagine there's that resistance there, making it harder. So we don't want to be going fast. We're going slow and controlled. Just for 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Gently bend, bring it back, bring the feet together, knees together. Same leg, this time we adjust, so the inside leg, hand on the thigh, keep it in place. This leg, the outside leg, we're going out 1, 2, 3, 4. So just taking it out 4, hips should still be facing forward. We have 4 little pulses, so moving an inch or 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we bring it in 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're taking it out to a 4 count, keeping the hips like headlights facing up. When we get to our 4, we have 4 little pulses just for 8, 7, 6, 5. I can't count today for some reason. And hold, and then bring it in 1, 2, 3, 4. So my hand is on the other thigh, and I'm just trying to be conscious that that other leg isn't shaking outwards, it's not moving out. It's just 4 of those pulses and then bring it back 4, because I want to have pelvic stability. So if that leg was swinging all over the place whilst I was performing this exercise, then it would tell me that I've got a lack of pelvic stability going on during this exercise. So it's just another way of being conscious of what is going on in the body, because even when we're working one space, other things can be happening elsewhere. So last pulse for 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring it back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hands on the fingers on the hip bones, thumbs on the rib cage. Take that outside this right leg again up in the air. This time nice and steady. Make that circle again. Even slower this time. So slow it right down. So think of it as bringing it to 12. Depending on which way you're going first. So I've gone anti-clockwise to 9, to 6, to 3. So really taking your time. And if we have no sciatica issues, point the toes as you do it. If you have sciatica issues, just let the foot be. Last one. Bring it back to 12. This time, either keeping the foot relaxed if we've got sciatica. If we don't have sciatica, flex the foot. Opposite direction, slow again. It's coming to 6, coming to 9, coming to 12, and 3. Core engaged, nice and strong. Keep it going, feeling the difference. Beast in your thighs today. So last 2. With control, remember it's one fluid movement, last one. And bring it in, bring it down. You may want to give it a rub. Pat it about. Okay. Nice and steady, gently. Tip the opposite leg up into the air. Remember, if you've got a slight bend in that leg, that's okay. We're trying to straighten it out, but if it's slightly bent, that's okay. Sometimes we have tight hamstrings. Mine naturally wants to be a little bit bent rather than straight. Fingers on the hip bones, thumbs on the ribs. And we're just beginning with that fluid movement. It's a rotation. Create a circle from the hip joint, nice and steady. Remember, that range isn't huge. If you've got that pop in, click it in the hip, make it smaller. Taking your time with it. Controlled. Ooh. And change direction. Nice and steady, just for 4, 3, 2, ooh, and 1. Bring it down. Feet together, knees together, hands still, fingers on the hip bones, thumbs on the ribs. This time the opposite leg is going out to 4. We're going to pulse for 4, bring it back for 4. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Little pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring it in. 1, 2, 3, 4. So nice and steady, taking it out for that 4 count. When it gets to the 4 count, then we have that little pulse, so it's literally moving. Just 1 inch, 2 inches, nothing huge. There is control. Remember, you can put your hand on the opposite side and then bring it back for 4. We can have the hand on the thigh to be conscious of whether we've got that pelvic stability. So if it's staying nice and stable, then fantastic. If it's wobbling about a little bit, take a focus into it. Make sure, try and keep it as still as you can. So 3 more. Take it out to 4, 4 little pulses. Bringing it back. Pulse again for 1, 2, 3, 4. Bringing it back. One last time. Pulse for 1, 2, 3, 4. And then bring it back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and steady. Take the leg back up. Again, let's slow it down this time. So really slow. Going round. So if you're stirring porridge, remember we can keep the foot relaxed or we can point the toe. So if we've got active sciatica going on, then I would say keep the foot relaxed. If we don't, then we point the toes. Nice and steady, slow and controlled. So remember those 3 points we're going, because, well, I've gone anti-clockwise, so you may be going clockwise. So but we're trying to hit those clock points, that 12, that 3, that 6, that 9. Yeah, that's right. I can't count at the best of times today. My brain is, for some reason, just not functioning, I don't think. So nice and steady, change direction. Now as we change direction, if you want to, you can have your foot flex this time rather than pointing, or you can keep it just relaxed. Slow it right down. Slow it right down. Using your breath. Remember that lateral breathing into the rib cage, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then gently bring it back. Take a deep breath. Exhale, bring it down. Knees together, feet together. 2:05 to 2. Just nice and easy. Soften out the back a little bit. And if you want to go a little bit further, you can do so. This time, 10 feet out, heels out, hip distance apart, ready for pelvic bridge. So remember, at this point, if you've got a cushion under your head, take it away. If you know you've got that overextension, then you may want a cushion or a little rolled up towel. So core is engaged, starting with simple bridge, slowly tucking the tailbone up to the ceiling, imprinting the lower back, beginning to lift up, and then slowly bringing it down. Nice and steady. Imprint and lift. And remember, we can take our hands to our rib cage. We want to be having that nice diagonal line going on. So the knees, the hips, the shoulders taking our time. Breathing in as we're bringing it up. And breathing out as we're coming down. So remember, we can put the hands on the rib cage. Feel if they're splaying up. If they're splaying up, we just make that range smaller. Remember, everybody's movement is different, and if it becomes too much, just go back to simple imprints. Last one. Now when I say last one, I just mean last one in that sense of that exercise. So take your right leg up, take it across onto your thigh. Just gently press the knee for a moment so you get a little stretch before we go into pelvic bridge. So just stretching a little bit. So we want the ankle beneath the knees, remember, feet flat to the floor. Take a deep breath as you exhale. This leg, so we've got that leg, it's crossed, the foot, the ankle is just resting on the opposite thigh. We're coming up into pelvic bridge. We're going to hold it up in pelvic bridge with our leg in this position. Now, if at any point you think, Gemma, you're having a laugh, it doesn't feel comfortable, it doesn't feel right, then just go back to a normal bridge and just hold it in place. So core is engaged. Take a deep breath. Tuck the tailbone and begin to lift and hold in place. Now what I want you to be conscious of is that your hips are staying level and you're not splaying up. So if you feel you're splaying, you're curving, hands on ribs, bring it down slightly. Hold that pelvic bridge. Nice and steady. Shoulders, hips. Knee's going to be a little bit higher, the one that's across. Bring the upper, mid, lower, down. Feet together, knees together. Easy little 5 past 5, 2. Just ease it out a little bit. Gently come back to the center. Take the opposite leg up, take it across. Take that deep breath, tuck the tailbone, imprint lower, lift and hold. Keeping it nice and strong. You can see, well, if you can see me, if you've looked at me, my little body's, I say little, it's not necessarily little these days in COVID time, too much bacon and cakes, but I can feel muscles trembling. It's going, oh, I don't like this at all. It's challenging. Gently bring the upper, mid, lower, down. Feet together, knees together. Gently sway side to side. Turn the feet out, heels out. One last time, pelvic bridge. This time we're coming into pelvic bridge. We're going to hold that pelvic bridge. So let's take our fingers onto our hip bones, thumbs onto the ribs. Take a deep breath. Tailbone up, imprint and lift. This time as we hold, hips are staying level. Heels come up and down. Heels up and down. Heels up and down. Up and down. Up and down. Up and down. Up. You should be feeling that into the glutes. Okay. Glute medius, glute maximus, piriformis. Those lovely, lovely glutes. Last two. Last one. Can we come up into our toes? Stay here for a moment. Stay here for a moment. Feeling that activation happening. Heels down. Upper, mid, lower imprints. Just 4 imprints. Everybody knows I love imprints. And then relax. Nice and steady. Take both arms above the chest and imagine you've got that beach ball in between the hands, okay? So shoulder width palm, palms are facing forward, shoulders relaxed, core engaged, neutral spine. We're taking it over the head. Remember, only go as far as the point you can without this rib cage and upper back beginning to lift. So for me, if I go, like if I show you, if I go here, I'm starting to lift here. I don't know if you can see that. So I need to make my range smaller. I'm just coming to here. You may be able to go further, that's okay. But be really conscious. Don't think I need to go further, I'm going to get more out of it, because you're not if you've got bad technique or you've got bad form, okay? So nice and steady. We inhale, we exhale, bringing it back as if you're placing it on your lap. So inhale Exhale. Last one. Bring it back above the chest, and again, imagine you've got one of those grey balls from the studio. If you remember them, they're like the green balls, but even bigger. Let's just imagine we're pulsing against them, so we're just squishing them small. It's just a small pulse, just for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then hold it. And where that point is, pulse again for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold it. Last time, pulse again from where it is for 8, 7. So the hands are getting closer, but they're not going to come together. 3, 2, 1, hold. Hold it there for me, nice and steady. So, taking the hands back out to that shoulder width distance apart, eyes looking up. This time, pull your shoulder blades apart and then pull them back. So shoulder blades apart and then pull them back. So you get a little separation of the scapulars and then pulling them down. Separate and down. Separate and down. Just for 8 and down. 7 and down. And 6 and down. We're going to have a nice little stretch. 5. I don't even know if I'm counting backwards or forwards. 4. Last 3. Last 2. And last 1. And bring them down. Relax the hands down. Roll onto your side. Coming up to seated. I don't know where I am with my counting today. I do apologise. So nice and steady. I look like I've got wire in my hair. Okay, sitting on the bum. Remember, if you have lower back issues, we can pop the bum onto a block, or a hard back book is just as good, or you can use a cushion. Squishy part of the bum is on the block, bones at the edge. So just sitting cross-legged, nice and steady. We're just going to do a couple of stretches before we move on. So take your left arm out, your right arm across, and as if you're trying to pull your shoulder blades apart from one another. So this is really opening up the shoulder blades. So we're just going to hold it here for a few moments. This is really nice. Now gently release, take your right arm under and your left arm over the top. So opposite side, so just pull in. It's a really nice stretch for opening the shoulder blades. So if you ever find that you've had trapped nerves in your shoulder blades, you get little pinches sometimes in there, this is a nice stretch to do. And then just release and just shake it out. So nice and easy. So from here, coming off that block for a moment, we're going to go into a tabletop position. So remember, you can always place a towel underneath the knees to give them more support. Hands beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips, elbows slightly soft, tailbone towards the back of the room, shoulders joined together. So we want a nice flat table with the back. We're just going to tuck under and up. So tuck under and up. Eyes and nose are looking down towards the floor, nice and steady. So just getting that synovial fluid going into the upper body. Just for 4, 3, and 2, and 1. Come back to that neutral position. Walk your hands wider than shoulder width apart and just slightly in front. We're going into press up. So we can either do the box, so you would keep your arms sort of, you take them as wide either side of your mat and come down like so. Or we can take the arms further forward, let the chest and hips come forward and come down like so. You can also do full press ups, but I'm not going to do that because I'll break my nose. So nice and steady, choose your poison. Core engaged, we can have the feet flat or we can have them crossed. We come down and up. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Keep going with that for me. So remember, no part of you should touch the floor other than the nose if anything was going to, or maybe you've got a large chest, maybe the chest might touch slightly, but we shouldn't be sort of collapsing onto the floor. The hips and pelvis should be nice and strong. So the bum should neither be sticking up towards the ceiling and the pelvis shouldn't be dropping down. So it's a nice stable back. So if I came along over to your house and popped like a nice tray of little appetizers and maybe some Prosecco, little flutes of Prosecco, placed it on your back as you were doing these press-ups, nothing would be spilled. It would stay in place. I really do. Every time I look up in the camera and see my hair, I look like I've got wire in it today. So let us just go 4 more. 4, 3, 2, last one, and up. Come back. Walk your hands back. This time we can do this following exercise on a block or off a block, or you may want a cushion under your knees. Shoelaces to the floor, hands across the chest, core engaged. Come back by 30 and up. Inhale. Exhale as you come forward. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Ow, my knee. Nice and steady. Want to make it more challenging? Hold your beach ball. Last 4. Last 2. Last 1. Bring the hands down. Gently come off the block. We're taking it underneath the bum if you have it. You don't have to have it. Soft squidgy part of the bum on the block, bones at the edge, knees bent, hands just behind. Leggings adjustment, excuse me. Nice and steady. So, bending and back, bending and back. Now, feet are hip distance apart. You may feel on the block you're too high up, but it does take the pressure out the lower back. So if you do, just take it out. So here, working into the triceps, just for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Little pulse, just for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come up I'm just turning to face you. Let's just have a stretch for a moment. Push or pull. Head's looking forward. Stay there for me. Bear with me a second. Back there. Sorry about that. I could just tell the husband's gone out with the child. So just holding that stretch. Child and husband have gone out, so I can hear I can hear this. Which I don't know whether bringing it up is a good idea. Let's change arms. Opposite arm comes up, push. Whilst you're holding that stretch, calm down, calm down, calm. Shh. You're not on your own. I'm here. Yeah, and they'll be back later. Baxter has what we call COVID anxiety. So whenever more than one person leaves the house, someone gets upset. But it's all right. It's all right. You'll be fine. So holding that tricep stretch. Now, shh, look. We're filming. We're filming. We need to be quiet. Shh. Okay. So from there, we've worked the chest, we've worked the triceps. Let us sit in this position, Baxter. I'm so sorry, I thought he'd calm down if I let him up. That's clearly not happening. Shh. 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 That's it. Shh. Shh. So, again, if you want to sit on your blocks or cushions at this point, you can do. Where did I put my block? It's just behind me. So, still working into the upper body. This time we're going to work our shoulders. Shh. Shh. That's it. So taking both arms to 90 degrees for me. Oi, stop being so noisy. So our arms are at 90 degrees and all we're going to do is bring it down and up. So rotating, so at 90, shh. Shh. So nice and steady. Shh. That's not at you, obviously, it's at the dog. So nice and steady. Rotating back and forth. Controlled. Shh. Shh. That's it. Calm down. Calm down. So as you're doing those rotations, just give me 4 more. So just nice and steady. 1, 2, slow and steady. 3, shh. And last one, shh. I don't know why I'm making that noise. And then relax. Just roll them out, roll them out. Shush, shush, shush. Yeah? These other people, in the household, me, and these poor people on this Pilates video who are trying to watch and wanting to do a workout, and then all they can hear is me going shh, and you going, and they'll be thinking, that Baxter, yeah, he needs to chill out. Exactly. Yeah. Yes, you're loved. They've just gone for a bike ride. Every time people need to leave the house, Baxter, every now and again, without you. Yes, without you. So nice and steady. This time coming over onto all 4s again. I thought if I brought you up here, you'd quieten down. So onto all 4s. Hands beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips, tailbone towards the back of the room, shoulder blades joined together, eyes and nose down towards the floor, elbows soft, shoulder blades joined together. This time, what we're going to do is turn the inside foot out by 30 degrees, back leg comes out, rotate into side plank. So we're in side plank. Now I know that the wrist can find this tough, okay? So if it's tough in the wrist, we can always take our hands into a fist. We want those shoulders directly above one another. Foot on the floor or challenge by lifting higher. Head, we want to bring it so it's in neutral position. Toes tucked under is going to give you more support. Flat to the floor, a little less stability. So we're holding this position nice and strong. Holding it there. I'm really sorry about my dog. Usually when I bring him up, he stops whining, but He really, really has got so clingy with Livy, my little girl. So when she goes out now, he's just like, he's lost. It's terrible. I don't know how we're going to cope when normality, if normality ever comes back. So hold in there, take a deep breath. Let's bring it down. Let's go over onto the other side. So again, remember, we can be on that fist if we wish, but we need to have that wrist and forearm in alignment. Turn the foot out 30 degrees, rotate. I know I'm turning my back to you for a moment. Shoulders directly above one another. Foot on the floor, or we can lift and hold. We can have the head looking forward, steer there, or the head can be looking up the arm. If we look up the arm, we're going to be challenging that balance even more. So holding that posture there. Nice and strong, palms up, facing forward. Core engaged. Holding it. Holding it. Staying in that position. Now we'll shut the door for a moment. Might just reduce the sound of the sadness of Baxter. So, holding that position, core strong and engaged. Take a deep breath. Exhale, bring it back down. Bring it back down. Hands beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips. Just move that block out from behind. Nice and steady. This time, all we're going to do, arm and leg comes out, opposite side. Arm and leg out, and in. So let's inhale, exhale. Hips are level, shoulders are level. Last one. Very gently, we're coming down onto our fronts. You may wish to roll onto your side and then come up. Hands beneath the shoulders, elbows beneath the shoulders, hands in front. Feet hip distance apart, legs behind. Hold it there, just looking forward. Hold it there for me. Now we can stay here and just hold it in this stretch. Or we can begin to lift and lower. So remember that juicy peach is under the chin. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Last 4. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1. Gently bend the hands, bring them in. Forehead relaxes on the back of the hand for a moment. Take the legs wider than hip distance apart, gluteal bracing. They start off like jello, then we squeeze and clutch the glutes together, rotating the ankle and knee, in and out. So in and out. And that pelvic floor is lifted, engaged, as is the abdominals. We've got that lateral breath going on. Nice and steady. Just for 8. And 7. And 6. And 5. Last 4. Last 3. Last 2. And can we just hold this last one? Hold that brace. So the bum cheeks, the glutes, having a really good smooch, holding it there. Just for 4. Just for 3. Just for 2. 1 and relax. Let it shake out. Gently bring one foot towards the bottom, take a hold. Remember, you can grab your leggings, the sock or the foot. Hold it there for a moment as we stretch out into the front of the thigh, into the quads. Hips want to be both tilted into the mat. I apologise for the sound of Baxter howling in the background. Don't know what we're going to do. Hold it there. It's got so clingy with us all. But particularly Livy. And relax. Opposite side. They do say cockapoos are like Velcro, and that is certainly true. He's only 11 months old. He's got so used to us all being here all the time. And relax. Gently roll onto your side. So you're on your side, bend your knees, hand comes across, push yourself up. Nice and gently, taking your block or your high back book or your cushion again. Let us just stretch the hamstrings. Take your legs nice and wide, soft part of your bum on the block. Very gently, hands on the knees, core engaged, lifted in the pelvic floor knobs. Deep breath in. Exhale, slide slightly forward. You're going to get a nice inner thigh stretch, and it's going to get into the hamstrings as well. Just be conscious you're pulling those shoulder blades back and down. And hold. I'm really sorry about Baxter. I knew they were going out at some point. I wasn't sure whether they were going to wait until I'd finished filming this bit, but hold it there. So I'm sorry if it's ruined the end of your experience with me today, or this evening, this afternoon, this morning, whenever it is you're doing this session. Take a deep breath. Slowly come up. Come over onto all fours. Very gently. Toes tucked under. Walk your hands back. Swing the arms. Better go and give him some serious loving. Calm him down. And then very gently, think about which is your weaker side, left or right or left, left or right, and stride it forward. Remember, toes behind is going to give you assist. I know my head's going to pop out a shot. So nice and steady, take a deep breath. Exhale, come up, bring it down. Feet hip distance apart, sassy walk it out, swing it out, swing it out, swing it out, swing it out. Calm down, I know they've gone out for a bike ride. See Grandad John. And relax. Tailbone under. Shh. Let me finish. Shh. Let me finish. Shh. So, tailbone tucked under. Shh. Pelvic floor engaged. Peach under your chin. Really sorry about this one. I don't beat my dog either, by the way. I just use that Cesar Milan technique of shh. But you'd think I'd beat you up and I was horrible to you, and all you get is love all the time, don't you? Lots of love. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that today. I mixed it up a little bit with the way in which it went. So, you know, constructive feedback's always welcome, remember. And I'm really sorry about Baxter. Have a good day. Bye.